Give me my brown boots plus a 1 on 20 minutes, of course, have less gold, yeah. That's how I feel, personally. But there are a ton of people who associate having a lot of items in their inventory directly with fun and, like, impact. Which has actually never been more untrue. Bad run again. I'm up, like, 550 MMR this patch. I'm up, like, 500 or 600 MMR. I have not had a bad run of games. I mean, I have, literally, like, had days where I lose a lot. But my feeling about the game, as far as, like, when you're winning, you just know you win. And when you're losing, you know you've lost. And it being that kind of, like, binary is kind of snooze. Like, I didn't quit playing the Jug game. I still played. I played the best on my team. By far. Didn't fucking matter. At all. I think a lot of it is like, at most brackets, people have a really hard time not chain feeding. You know what I mean? Like in that Jug game, let's say, like, theoretically we stalled a bit and we had like a lot less like random deaths. The game would obviously be way closer, right? But in a pub environment, it's really hard to stop that from happening. You can't just be like, hey man, stop dying, Omega lol. Because if the player was better, then they would stop dying. But they're not better, so they're going to keep dying. And kills are worth a shit ton. But that's why I'm pretty adamant about it, though. Because, like, I do think this patch has potential to be insanely good. I really do. I wouldn't be talking about it if I didn't give a shit, you know? I think this patch has the potential to be like one of the best patches ever. But it's hard to really push the limits of the new map and like what kind of stuff you can do because there's just way too much gold. Gotcha. Scrooge McDuck comes out with his giant ass fucking titanium plated vault and just drops it on your head and you just lose. Are there like, okay, this is just a question for chat, and I'm not trying to out anybody here, so if you don't want to say what MMR you are, that's fine. But are there like any lower MMR players who are having different experiences than what I'm currently having? Or do you find that your games are like, are the same? Come back some more common in Crusader. Well, Han was dying because it was dying for a million years because nobody actually wanted to play Han. Everybody just wanted to play Dota 2, right? I don't think those things are really relatable in this case. Plus, this game has hit player records 3 times in like the last year, apparently, so. It's not that Dota 2 is really dying, it's that the high-level gameplay is pretty stagnant. Which is a problem, obviously. People 5K couldn't get their calibration, ranked games are still toxic. Yeah, I mean, okay, like, I'm not saying you're wrong. Obviously, the games are toxic, but, like, I'm talking about, like, your actual gameplay experiences. Like, do you feel like you guys had a chance when you're getting owned? Do you feel like people are throwing? Do you feel like when you're just winning your lanes, the game just fucking ends? Like, obviously, the average MMR, I think, is, like, 2 point something K at this stage. Or some shit like that, like 2,700. Maybe it's lower. But that is, like, a very, very different game, you know, than what, like, Divine Immortal, High Immortal players play. Like, if I logged into, you know, like, Legend Bracket or, you know, Archon, or even lower than that, I could probably do whatever the fuck I wanted and win the game, you know? But I just wanted to, the only reason I was asking is because I wanted to know if the gameplay experience for people who are lower MMR has actually been better or worse. I can't honestly, no, I don't want to. I'm just saying, like, there are huge mechanical disparities between those levels of players, right? Like, if you compared me to, like, Nisha, and I went mid against Nisha, he would literally shit on me in any matchup. Any of them. I would just get blasted, you know? So it doesn't really matter, like, what the game is like if the person is that much better. I think I win a lot more games. Yeah. Like, PMA and stuff and mentality. Again, this is all stuff that's not related to what I'm actually trying to get at. And I'm not saying you're wrong. You're definitely right. I just mean, like, how did the games... Like, when you're playing, do you feel like you have agency? When you're playing, do you feel like, you know, you have options? Like... Radiant's top tower is under attack. Canceling your own depends on picks, but a major factor would be if the enemy throw. Yeah. But that's true as in every bracket. It, like... The game that I was referencing, the Jug game, the enemy cores made a lot of mistakes. It wasn't like they just played perfect and there was nothing we could do. They just won the lanes, and then even though they made mistakes, they weren't enough to really throw them off the lead. Yeah. Remember when you could lose lanes but win the game? No, I never lose my lane. That's the trick. Except when I pick Jug, then I lose my lane. Dire's middle tower is under attack. I don't feel like my love of our games playing from behind has any less or more agency than what I remember from the last patches, barring the rubber band mechanic metas. Double kill. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to compare gameplay experiences. Because, like, I could put a 2K player on my account and make them Q Divine. And I'm pretty sure 10 out of 10 games, they would just get absolutely shit on. Right? Dire's top tower is under attack. I think that's also kind of a Dota problem, though, where this game has so much, like, nuance and intricacy at the higher level that the small stuff is really what matters the most. And some people just can't even recognize what's happening when it's literally happening in front of them. Like, they don't have the eye to see, like, what's actually giving the enemy team the advantage in any given situation. It is very hard to convey a point that a person cannot physically see. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is fallen. Ah, you just went straight up Gleb, huh? Dire's middle tower is under attack. I see Sox's Bounty Hunter. No, but I mean, I'm assuming it owns, because he owns and Bounty Hunter's OP, so.
Yep, you're dead.
Well, that's the hard thing about Dota, right? Is you can't actually, like... Unless you've been in the situation yourself, it's really hard to associate. If you're trying to, like, learn on your own and you're, like, a newer player, this game is hard as fuck. You know? It's so hard to try to figure out stuff on your own. You kind of need other people to some degree. Like, even the top-level pros, they learn shit from each other all the time.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I had stacked agents in the enemy and moved in an area to take them, and they didn't realize... My team didn't realize what was going on despite it happening and vision and being nearby. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's like a literal example of what I'm talking about. But I mean simple stuff like... You know, when someone's pushing a lane and when they're not and why. Like, if I was asking somebody who was like a 2 or 3K player why each individual auto attack was happening on what creep and at what time, and like why they're manipulating the wave the way they are, there's no way they'd be able to answer that question because they just haven't thought about it ever. Right? That's what I mean. Like, that's why those players would do so poorly in higher level games, because that is stuff that people think about the higher that you get. Like, nobody at 2K is going to think about their TP. Right? They're just going to TP. They're going to see creeps and be like, ah, TP. I see creeps. And yeah, the Necro TP from the other day is a really good example of people even in the games that I play. You know, Divine obviously not being super high skill, but higher than most. It's just... That's what makes the lobbies, like, kind of incomparable. Oh shit, he's dead. Alright, how much gold is the skill worth right here with track? 6k to 5k. Man, that was actually nothing. What the hell? That was a track kill on a streak and it gave 1,000. And that was a team that was losing. Is it Divine being mechanically proficient? I'm trying to think of how I would compare it to like a real life scenario. Because it's easier to like digest that way. I don't know. I would say being Divine is like being on a varsity like high school team versus like the NBA, you know, for basketball. The NBA is like the pros, and the varsity basketball team is like where the 15 and 16-year-olds are pooning like other kids and they think they're good, but they're actually just like ass. That's what I would equate it to. No, it's not that I don't believe in college. It's just literally like I don't even think that they're college level. Will I still do replay analysis? Sure. If you have one you want me to watch. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it too, Serpy. The problem is, like, and even I'm guilty of this, right? I think everybody does this. You just get in your own way a lot. You get in your own way in terms of, like, how you think about the game, what heroes you like, how you play the game, like, your habits, you know? Because you got to where you are doing those things, so your ego and your brain tells you that those things are correct and true, even if you lose, you know? And it makes it really hard to improve past a certain point unless you really fucking care about improving.
Was there a bounty on me?
That's gotta hurt.
Learn where you get super high variance in terms of players. Oh, well, yeah, Divine is the same. Player variance is nuts. I mean, look at this, you know? Like, if I look at this game, this guy is uncalibrated, but he was probably Divine before, you know? This guy is Divine 3. These guys went to the same lane. You know, this guy, at 5 minutes in, this guy is level 7, this guy is level 5. They're both mid. 3-0-0-3. Solo died 3 times. You know? Like, this is not a situation that you would ever really think would occur. So, like, when you see stuff like that, you know, the variance is still very, very high. Also, remember that the more people play a specific role, the bigger difference they're probably going to have in their off roles compared to their main roles. So for example, let's say somebody only plays mid. Like they're just a mid main, don't care, mid main, last pick degenerate, you know? And then every 5 games, or sometimes, I guess now it's every 3 games, because if you lose, you actually only get half the credit, they're forced to play something that they don't fucking play. They're gonna be way worse on average than a guy who actually main support in that bracket. And the disparity just gets higher, you know? So, like, you know, you're 7k mid player, your fucking support's probably like 3 or 4k. If you don't actually, like, care about improving on that role, right? So, yeah, obviously, there's going to be variance in every single bracket, but I do believe that like, the low Immortal Divine bracket is probably the most variance you can possibly get in terms of performance. Because people still aren't quite good enough to be playing with the best. you know. And most people can probably only play one role and a handful of heroes at that level and nothing more. It is very rare to find like a truly versatile player.
Look, the Dire's top tower is under attack.
This game is actually pretty close. Tinker Bounty Hunter, bro. Log in. Just main, 4 and 5, never need to earn OQ tokens. Yeah. Poppy Wancha. I think you're just skilled enough to notice all these things and it gives the appearance of wider range than there really is. Well, wouldn't the person who can recognize it know that it's a bigger variance? I don't know, too.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But yeah, I feel,
Radiant's bottom tower is
you know,
under
1 or
attack.
2 decently sized patches on this meta and the game will be in a really good spot. And I actually have had quite a bit of fun playing. Like, I wouldn't have been streaming as much as I have if I wasn't having
Tower is under attack.
fun. But some games are just so frustrating, you know? The most frustrating feeling in Dota is being in a game where you feel like you can't do anything and you can't get out. You're literally trapped, and that's what the Jug game was. So that's why I was, like,
Look,
frustrated.
the Dire's top tower is under attack.
That's why I identify as areas in which you need to improve. You can watch a replay and see things that you do badly, but you might not do those bad things a lot of the time. Not just see the mistakes you're making. Okay, so what I like to do, if I'm playing like a core role, I look at the death, right? I look at the death and I say, why did I die here? Like, what was the thing that caused me to die? Was my TP off cooldown? Was I pushing too greedily? You know, how long was the enemy team off map? Is this even a place on the map that I should be inhabiting? Are there other things going on that I should maybe be thinking about instead of being here, right? So what that does is it forces you to think about other aspects of the game that you probably wouldn't be doing while you were playing. So for example, if Roche is up and your team is strong and you're just like passively pushing a lane and not really thinking, but you're on the wrong side of the map, you know, it's daytime and you're top, should you be there? You know, could you have taken something that is more meaningful than, you know, a wave or two of creeps, right? So there's a ton of questions that you can ask yourself when you have a death, like as a core player. As support, it's a little bit different because you're kind of playing a bunch of theoretical Dota when you play support. You got to look at your lineup and be like, hey, what's our timing? You know, do we need blinks? Do we just need level 6? Are we even able to fight at all? Right? Because if you can't answer those questions, you don't really know where to ward, you know? You don't really know where to ward, you don't really know, like, what the best positioning on the map is for you, because if you don't understand how your team wants to play the game based on their heroes, then you're not going to be able to help them, you know? So I always like to ask myself those types of things when I play any role. It's like, okay, this game's pretty close, actually. Should I just turn it off? I was going to open up the Jug replay and give you an example of what I meant, so it was like a little bit more clear, but you guys can just watch this on the main stream, right? Like, we're not even really talking about this game. I think I'm just going to do that, just as an example of what I mean. Like, I'll download this replay, and we'll look at my deaths, and we'll talk about, like, what the theoretical, like, thing that I did wrong was that led to the death. And maybe this will give you some insight into how I think about the game.
You're bad now. Go on, ban what bash you don't want to fight.
Alright, so here we are, having our ultra poopy game. Now, obviously, you can look at more stuff than just your deaths. But I think personally that as a 1, your deaths are always very, very important to understand why they happened. I think the first time I die, I was actually top. But yeah, 17 minutes, we're 11k behind. Okay, so I die here. Now, I'm gonna say this. Wait. Why is it? Hold up. Wait, this is bugged. I had a TP right now. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, so I know that I died here because I remember this fight. I remember taking this fight and going... Before I even went in, I said in my head, my TP is down. If I go in, I will die. Because the way that you get out of a fight on Jug is you spin TP, you know? Now, this guy may have... Yeah, he didn't have Basher yet. So they have no way of stopping spin TP. If I want to avoid dying here, I literally cannot go in. Right? So I made the choice to go for a kill instead of living because I wasn't sure like how valuable the kill would be. I know this is a 5-on-5 fight. I know that everybody's here. We are not strong. Like, Dota Theory would tell you that taking this fight is just terrible, you know? But I didn't really care that much about the game. Like, we're 12k behind. So, I go, okay. I know this guy just pushed W. This guy rushed Ags. I can probably kill him with Omni with this inventory. I have enough attack speed. I have this thing. But, realistically, I should be down here looking at this, you know? If I'm playing a game and I want to play it more passively, there's no way I ever go into this fight without my TP up. Because that way I know after my Omni I can leave. So I go in, and you see me waiting here by the trees. I'm waiting for the Willow's thing to wear off. Because I see this guy it's about to end, you know? And I get my Omni. Now, I get the kill, right? It's like 1,000 gold kill. But as you can see, my TP's down. I'm going to die. But we knew that already, right? So, like, I get my Midas off because I know I'm dead anyway. That's all I can do. What did I get out of that fight? I got 400 gold. I got 400 gold for killing the Willow that was, like, 15 or 100 net worth higher than me, you know? So was it worth it to die here? Fuck no. I should have just ran away. 1 creep wave gives me the money that I would have gotten from the Willow kill. Okay, maybe, like, 2 creep waves. So I should never have been here in the first place. We're way too far behind to fight. Not only that, but the place that we're fighting in the map is terrible, right? We're right next to their tier 1. We're fighting at a stage on the map is like... Fighting here is always hard, because they're gonna TP. You know? So, like, I look at this death and I go, well, it definitely is not worth it for me to fight this. Because the gold that I got from the kill was not enough. I thought it might be more. It was crap. I died. I'm off the map for like a minute. And now I see these 2 lanes that I could have just been pushing out, you know? The flip side of that conversation is that people will say, oh, well, you just got to fight with your team. We can't fight them, man. They're way too far ahead. Like, the best thing that I can do, the absolute best thing I can do for my team in this game right now is not be dead. Pushing lanes, not being dead. That's what I can do. So let's look at the other death. I don't remember actually where the other death was. But yeah, this guy kind of like shits on me. I'm really weak. They try to kill me and they can't. I get pushed out of lane. I go top. Now my TP is going to be coming off cooldown relatively soon here, so we get to hit some creeps. We forced the Willow TP top, which is why I left, so I don't want to be there anymore. Farming this stack so they don't take it, and then we push out top again. When did I die next? Can't remember. We do that. We're gonna take the portal, I think. Farm bottom. Yep, we force another TP. Where's this guy? Oh wait, do I die here? No, I have my TP. Okay, so here it's just a mechanical mistake. I shouldn't have TP'd the base. I should have TP'd top. Like, TPing top would definitely be better than TPing the base. So I lose I lose like 20 or 30 seconds here because of this TP. So that one hurts, right? That one just hurts. I don't push mid tower because I know that they're probably rotating a hero in for the incoming wave. I just want to walk top to where the Night Stalker is and counter pressure. So my TP is up now. I know I can play aggro. I think I checked the Pango's inventory for Basher, which, yeah, he's got on his quick buy, but he doesn't actually have it yet. Yeah, so I force him to TP, which is good. That's like one of the first things that you want to do as a 1, is force a TP response when you're behind. The unfortunate part is, actually, no, wait, this is the good fight. Okay. Yeah, this is the good fight. Okay, so we get like a nice engagement. Now, anybody looking at this game, the only reason that happened is because I pushed top, right? If I don't push top and the Pango doesn't make that TP, this play is literally never happening because the Pango's there and we're not strong enough. So, like, we make that huge play, but the gold differential literally doesn't change, you know? We get nothing. Like, I'm hitting some creeps. We got some kills, but it doesn't actually do anything to the state of the game. Like, we're literally just as far behind as we were before the fight happened. Now, my TP is down here for a little bit. And now I know, by the way, that the Pango has Basher, so I know I can't be on that tower. Now, this TP was kind of, wait, what happened here? I don't remember. Okay, yeah. So we kind of go in, we get some kills. I know my Omni's down. I can't fight without Omni. These two guys don't want to buy back. The game is kind of just super fucked. You know, they take one fight, they get even more money for it than us beating them twice when they were ahead. So we basically won 2 fights in a row when they were ahead, and we didn't get any net worth difference. And then they win 1 fight, and they take 2 racks, and now they're up an additional 5k. You know. So like here, do I die here? No, wait, I baited the Pango, right. Like honestly, I actually played this better than I thought. I thought I kind of just trolled. I did troll here, I think he kills me. No, I don't die here either. Yeah, I mean like, I'm actually playing pretty fucking well this game. Like I'm 3rd highest net worth right now. But we're still, like, literally 20k behind. Yeah, we didn't want to re-go because we thought the Pango was close. Oh yeah, I died here. Okay, so let's talk about this stuff then. So what did I fuck up here? Did they have a ward on me? Is that what happened here? I think they might have had a ward on me. Nope, they didn't see the high ground at all. Okay, so they just randomly walked up here, I guess. So the other mistake right now is I don't have a TP. And this guy just walked up the hill. I think he was going for the Tormentor and just happened to find me. But yeah, so this death is the end of the game. So we look at this death, and honestly, I don't even know if my TP is up here. I actually don't even know. I think my TP is actually still down. Even though I don't have one, I think it's still down. Would phase have helped? I didn't finish boots. I think finishing boots probably helps, but honestly, gameplay-wise, I definitely played fine. Like, we're 18k behind. If I die once, the game probably ends anyway. They saw you walk left after the creep wave? Yeah, they probably did.
Yeah, I get it. Was bad.
And they probably knew my Omni was down too, so farming the camp was probably not ideal. But his ulti was actually off, wasn't it? When he walked up. Oh no, it was still on. How long? Yeah, he had it for like 5 more seconds. Yeah, so this is just me having like a small lapse of judgment. I shouldn't have farmed this camp, obviously. I should have just walked back to base with my team. Because I could have farmed like all the creeps coming into the base here. Like I didn't need to be at the Ancients. I could have been in here right now, and it would have been safe. And then, you know, I have Omni for the next fight, so yeah. I mean, this death is definitely pretty bad. This is the worst death by far. Because it's not that like we should win the game or anything, it's just I literally can't die here. But yeah, other than like checking, you know, your deaths. It's more about like what's happening in the game and what are the teams fighting for and like what timings are there, you know? Like obviously the enemy team is giga farmed. Like even though I'm 4 levels higher than this guy is net worth, he still has like a full item on me. So he has like AC and heart and radiance and I have like this, which isn't bad. You know, it's not literally the worst, but he's obviously going to be way stronger than me in a fight if I don't have my ult. So yeah. But yeah, but besides just deaths, it's more about like what people are prioritizing. Is there a push that you could have attended? Did you have your ults? Did you not have your ults? Like that's a really big factor, right? If you see like all the little green diamonds at the top, if one team has like all of them and the other team has none of them, chances are, if you're going to take a fight, the team with the green diamonds is going to win. You know, just really simple stuff like that. It doesn't have to be like some super complicated, oh, he did this, so I have to make this move at this time, blah, blah, blah. Like, eventually it will become more like that. But for now, what I would focus on is, hey, did we have ults? Is there an item timing that we should be waiting for that I didn't wait for? Is it valuable for me to be occupying this space compared to another space? And if so, why? Or why not? You know? Like, that's what I like to ask. So, like, here, if I wasn't looking at just the death part of it, I could be like, this spot on the map is relatively low value, and I misinterpreted it as being safe when it wasn't safe. Like, my brain autopiloted to the camp thinking that they would back because they had 2 heroes dead. But this guy made the distinction to go fight because he probably thought that my ult was down and everybody else on my team was weak. You know? So that's like a way that you can look at it. Like this decision by him, he also has information of the creeps showing the other heroes on my team, so he also knows that there's probably not anybody else here. He might not have even expected to walk into me. It might have been completely unintentional, but he's going to walk up anyway because he sees people. Would I stack 1 creep in mid to stack your nearby camp? Well, yeah, 1 creep for sure. I mean, that's just a numbers game, right? You stack a camp, if the numbers match or are higher, then you just do it. Because why wouldn't you? It's just more money. Now, it's hard when you're mid because the camps are very far away now. I guess for Dire, it's pretty close, but for Radiant, you have to walk quite a bit further. But yeah, this death is quite literally the end of the game. We were behind the whole game by a pretty large margin. This guy had roll, he came back to the fight. Like, if you think about the logistics, it's more just like... The whole philosophy of me not chasing when I was right here is I didn't have this and I thought the Pango was going to be there. So if I think both of those things, then by proxy, I should literally never farm this. Right? So that's just a decision-making error. I just should never be there. Because if I think the Pango's there and I know he has ult, if they walk into me, I 100% die. So yeah, that was a silly mistake on my part. I just shouldn't have been there. But I hope that helps a little bit about how like I perceive my games and like how I go about it. Wait, is this series over? One big change to 7.33, I noticed people don't... Wait. I don't think people really talked about is assist gold is insane. The change is hidden behind a complicated math formula, but base assist gold is increased by like 50 per hero. Well, is it a base plus a multiplier? Because I know that people were saying assist gold is high, but I don't know, like... I don't have the old versus the new numbers. Tinker Wreck Tundra? Yeah. I don't know. I guess we're just queuing. There's just nothing really else to do right now. PoE's kind of boring. I don't have any games that I want to play currently. We'll just pain champ through the one roll.